Riverdale, a fun, brooding, stupid, slow car crash of a show about four teenagers who live in a town full with sinister happenings and bloodthirsty criminals whilst dealing with the struggles of everyday teenage life. Riverdale is also one of the weirdest shows I have ever seen, and I mean this completely wholeheartedly with no doubt in my mind that season 1 and 2 of this show were some of the best seasons of teenage drama television I've ever watched. It was so good, it's just so freaking good. Just a simple teenage murder mystery show with your average Nancy Drew detective main character, edgy lone wolf beanie wearing cool owner, the ripped sexy main character who everyone loves despite his demons, and the hot girl. It's so good in the first couple of seasons, and it was very big only just a few years ago when it was the show everyone was watching. If you were a teenager, you probably watched the show in its prime. I mean, I remember when I first got introduced to it, it was like crack. I was there no matter what for the next episode. It was great, and actually really good, really well written show about all the things we teenagers love. Teen romance, drama, and murder, because you know, who doesn't love murder, I guess. But then, you get to season 3, over some halfway through season 2, over some after the first episode of Riverdale, and it just turns into one painfully drawn out, excruciatingly long plane crash that instead of death results in hours of wasted time and a lot of unsatisfaction. I'm not sure if that's exactly a word. Who cares? Unsatisfaction. If it's not a word, it is now, because that is the perfect way to describe what I felt like after watching Riverdale. Because like I said, it went from being an excellently written, crafted and produced teenage murder mystery show in the first 2 seasons to a show, and listen to this, about a rip-off Dungeons and Dragons game called Griffins and Gargoyles, which is controlling everybody's mind. Yes. What? And then a farm cult that is secretly harvesting organs. That's actually just the plot of an entire season of this show. What is going on? Riverdale really went from, okay, you know what, this is actually kind of good, to, okay, what the fuck is happening, guys? Because yes, season 3 and 4 of this show, of this godforsaken show, center around a farm cult that is actually a front for a massive organ harvesting business, and there's something to do with rockets in there as well. I really don't know. So anyways, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Riverdale and try to answer the question, what happened to Riverdale? Okay, come on, that was a pretty smart segue. Come on, give me some credit for that. You know, just smoothly gliding in the title like that. Oh yeah. Anyways, now that I'm done crediting myself and making weird noises, let me explain what this video is. So, over the next few months, most likely, with a video hopefully every other week, culminating in 7 videos, I want to individually go through each season of the former hit show that was Riverdale, and try and explain where on earth it fell off, and how it fell off so hard, starting of course today with season 1. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to, you know, continue the saga and follow the series as we go through each season. Because oh boy, did it fall off, and you do not want to miss those videos. Also, have you not watched Riverdale yet? Well, what the hell are you doing here, dumbass? No, I'm joking. Please stay. Do not try and trouble yourself with watching Riverdale. Just don't. Just, you know what? Forget about it. Just completely forget about Riverdale. But anyways, get, I don't know, a tea or something, whatever you want, and come with me on this journey as we take a trip down memory lane to Riverdale. Okay, so, season 1 of Riverdale, otherwise known as the only sane season of this TV show. Even season 2 is a little off the rails, I have to admit. So yes, this is probably going to be the only chiefly good review in this new series. Well, let's get into it, shall we? I don't know what I've got myself into. So, one of the best things about season 1 of Riverdale for me that makes it just such a captivating, fun and good season of television is the simplicity in it. It's just a fun murder mystery spanning a nice, concise 13 episodes, centering around the mysterious death of one Jason Blossom. Jason is the son of Clifford Blossom and part of the Blossom family, the richest in Riverdale, and owner of just the finest assholes known to man. And some fine maple syrup too, because that is their entire business. Selling maple syrup, having, I don't know, just good maple syrup on their farms, I guess. I mean, we're not even in Canada, but whatever. But guess what? It's actually not all maple syrup, because in probably the most random thing of the entire season, Clifford Blossom, the main guy at the head of it all, well, his maple syrup business was just a front for one big drug empire. Yeah, it was a bit random, honestly. Like, it just got revealed at the end of the season that he had this massive drug business, drug empire. It came out of nowhere, and then it just gets brushed off, like, just pretty quickly and never talked about again, save for one plot point in season 2 regarding some guy called the Sugar Man, which is also a thing. God, everything from Riverdale just sounds so stupid when I say it out loud and out of context. But yes, that's the main mystery of season 1 of Riverdale, the murder of Jason Blossom, and we follow our 4 titular characters, Archie, Veronica, Jughead and Betty, as they uncover the truth behind the murder, and the dark secrets hiding underneath the picturesque town of Riverdale. It's great, honestly, it's great television, as I've said 20 times already. Sorry, I gotta get them all in before we get to the next few seasons. Now, if you're wondering what Riverdale actually is, it's just a small town in the US of A, and it's based off these old comics set in this thing called the Archieverse. Of course, the main character here is called Archie, although he's not really the main character. You have lots of different characters. Jughead's the one who's narrating the story, so you could make a case for why he's the main character. Betty could also be considered the main character in different ways. But yes, this all starts from the Archie comics, which came out, I don't know, long time ago, never even tried them. And there is a sort of Riverdale extended universe that exists, but I would not trouble yourself with that. But anyways, back on track with Riverdale. One thing that I do quite like about the show is, I don't know how to explain it entirely, but it gives a sort of nostalgia. You know, if you've watched all those old Disney high school 90s movies, those very cringe but, you know, very fun movies that we all secretly love but don't like to admit it, I feel like Riverdale definitely does give off that vibe, that old school vibe. It's just not as good. It just doesn't, you know, do it as well. But moving on then to the mystery itself. I'd say for the most part it's handled pretty well. The characters don't seem like superhuman geniuses when figuring out the case. Like, they're not like, you know, fucking Sherlock Holmes characters with too many detective teenagers are in mystery shows nowadays. No, Jughead and Betty, the main ones leading the investigation, are for the most part normal teenagers. And although they are still abnormally smart at solving these cases, like, excuse me, I'm literally their age and I can't even make a slice of toast without burning the kitchen down, and these guys are out here solving murder cases. Even the entire sheriff department couldn't. Which is of course going to be slightly unrealistic, but that's to be expected with any teenage murder mystery plot. But they're not abnormally smart, so I'll allow it. I still think the mystery is really well done in season 1 at least. But there are a couple of really far reaches in the plot spanning out, you know, coming out towards the end. Like Betty, there's this one really weird thing where she reaches into the holes of Jason's pockets because stuff always falls through in hers, yeah. And she finds a USB drive which shows Clifford Blossom killing Jason. Yeah, that one didn't work as well, but for the most part it's still very well executed. And especially the way that the mystery is all comes out at the end when we find out that Clifford Blossom actually killed Jason, his own son, then framed Jughead's dad FP by threatening him. It's all really, really good stuff and a really satisfying conclusion to a truly captivating mystery. And then looking at another aspect of the show, equally as important in a teenage show, like literally any show or movie or book aimed at teenagers ever, has to be good at this one thing. And that is, of course, the romance. You know, this might be the one thing that Riverdale actually continues to be good at past the first season, until season 5 when it just fucks itself up again. It's just so bad. How does this show, honestly, the fall off is ridiculous. Sorry, please just get back on track. I just cannot stop going on about how hard this show fell off, but focusing back on season 1, the romance, because it is honestly really, really good. I quite like it. I mean, Bughead for life, guys. I love Betty and Jughead together, and I will never trust a single person who supports Archie. Like, what do you mean Betty and Archie are together? Were you raised right? Are you sure? Do you need maybe just like a little bit of help? I think you really, really do. Sorry if that was a bit much. I'm a bit defensive of Betty and Jughead, like quite defensive of them, which then does go to shit a bit in later seasons, so look forward to that, I guess. But they both have this sort of darkness within them, which is what it's called, which really comes to the surface, of course, in future seasons. And it's sort of this weird thing where Betty has a thing where when she gets angry, she digs her nails in really deep and they cause her to get cuts. And it's definitely a bit of foreshadowing with this whole dark Betty thing, and she has some cell within her that's some serial killer cell. I don't know. It's just really, really weird. I just flipping out. Anyways. Yes, back to what I was saying. Each time I go off on a tangent, I just get pissed off every single time, and then I just lose my train of thought, even though I'm following a script. That's how bad it is. But anyways, yeah, there is some very good foreshadowing for her descent, I guess you could say, where more of her inner darkness is revealed. And Jughead and Betty are endgame. No matter what you tell me, no matter what happens, are we clear on that? Good. Jughead and Betty, endgame. Then we have Archie, who, well, good God, his love life is a mess in this season. And it's not just a mess, it is way worse than that. Let me take you through, my dear friend, Archie's relationships, yes, several of them, in season 1 of Riverdale, just 13 episodes mind you, and he goes through multiple women. So first, he's best friends with Betty, his next door neighbor, who used to be in love with, but now just views her as a friend. She got shuffled into the friend zone, despite her feelings for him. Then the new girl Veronica enters town, who immediately falls for, has a moment with, before ending whatever they had, because reasons, I guess. But it turns out that throughout all of this, all of her stuff with Betty and Veronica, yes, Archie has also been having secretly a relationship with the music teacher at his school. Yeah, you heard that right, Miss Grundy, which I'm not a big fan of that one, to be honest. I mean, her name's Grundy, and it was a fake name. She made that name up, and she called herself Geraldine Grundy. That is horrendous. What was she thinking? And of course, it turns out to be a fake name, but she told a horrible one. So yes, Archie has a secret affair with his music teacher. Cool. Right. Whatever. And they're together after a while, and they break up, then they get back together again before they're discovered by Betty's mum, Alice, who, by the way, is just a bitch. Like a real bitch. Alice is honestly possibly my least favourite character of the entire show. But anyways, Miss Grundy leaves town after being confronted by Alice, and it turns out that she was actually a child predator that entire time. Yeah, I guess. Oh, bloody hell, Archie, this guy. So, with that out of the window, Archie is now single, before he gets with Valerie, who helps him with his singing, and she used to be part of the Pussycats, which is like the whole, cool girls band in the school, before that gets dismantled when she decides to leave to help Archie, except then they break up after a while because he gives her zero attention. What? Like, they have the most overlooked and random relationship of the entire show, which just goes nowhere, absolutely nowhere, and inevitably, they break up. To be honest, I'm not sure what the entire purpose of them getting together was in the first place. It really was useless. We saw zero real chemistry between them, just what you'd see between friends. And then they get together, having a few looking, deeply at each other moments. Oh, wow. But then they break up. Useless. I feel like the writers crafted this relationship between Val and Archie, then saw it was going nowhere, and we're like, well, we don't want to get rid of it, so they just made them break off. Why? I mean, Veronica was there that entire time, and he gets with Valerie, and it's all really confusing. Then he gets off with her, and then, wait, not like that. And then Veronica comes back into the picture, and it's all really confusing. Because then Archie gets over his breakup with Val in like one episode. It's such a freaking useless relationship, which, whatever. And then moving on, Archie gets over it pretty quickly, and after a bit of will they, won't they, and a bit of, oh, they're going to, they do, oh, they're not going to, Archie is back with Veronica. Which was going to happen from the very start, wasn't it? It was inevitable. But Jughead and Betty for life. Or, Grundy and Archie, the child predator relationship. That was a fun one, wasn't it? No, I'm kidding. But now getting into other aspects of season 1, I really like the characters. They are all honestly really interesting, really well done. Every single character pretty much has their own vibe, their own distinct characteristics. And it is one thing that season 1 actually does so well. Because you just want to spend time with everyone, everywhere. It doesn't matter if the plot is following Jughead or Archie or Betty or Veronica or Cheryl or Josie or Kevin or even one of the parents. They're all so much fun to spend time with and watch. And let's just talk about some of the side characters for a second, especially if you're here having not watched the show before. So let's start with Cheryl. Well, Cheryl is a... I promise that she really is that bad. And listen, I get that she lost her brother, but come on, Cheryl, she's just horrible. I'm sorry, it's just, she's so annoying. She's such an annoying prick throughout the entire show, not just this season. But I feel like I can't say too much because she did lose her brother and has a terrible home life, which does get explored a bit more in later seasons, and that is not great. Which, can we just talk about that for a second? Because yeah, my god, does Cheryl have possibly the worst home life of any character in any of these shows that I've ever kind of watched. These kind of teenage kind of shows, I've never seen a character with a worse home life. She's severely neglected and abused by her parents, emotionally, psychologically, physically as well sometimes. It really is hell for her. And yes, while she is a bitch, she's an unfortunate one. So we can sort of forgive her, I guess. If I must. But continuing on, then you have Kevin Keller. Just your landmark CW gay best friend guy, who is surprisingly one of the deeper characters in this show. You wouldn't think of it, when you look at Kevin as a character who's just the third wheeling all of Betty's relationships, giving her advice and being generally a pleasant character. And mainly in season 2, Kevin is so much more than that in reality, and I really like how his character is handled in season 2 and onwards, when we explore his character a lot more. And in season 1, of course, what we're focusing on today, we don't get that as much, but I still really like how his character is done. Of course, being one of the only gay characters actually in the show, it's really well explored. Then we have Josie, who I'd say alongside Reggie is the last important student of the show. Maybe Val, but she was good for being Archie's girlfriend for like 2 days. And Josie, once again, is a really fun, interesting character who gets explored quite deeply as well. The high school popular girl, amazing singer who just everyone loves, but also doesn't have a great home life either, with her dad being pretty much unimpressed with anything she does and constantly away from home. God, no one has a good life in this show. No one has a good home life. I'm telling you, Archie lives alone with his dad. His mum moved out of state. Jughead lives on his own, hopping from place to place. His dad, a gang leader, and his mum and sister out of state and not wanting to see him that much. Veronica living alone with her mother, with her dad arrested for embezzling and whatnot and in jail. Cheryl finally at least lives with both her parents, thank God, but her brother died and her parents are perhaps the most neglectful and abusive of any in the entire show. Kevin, oh yes, lives with one parent, with his mum out serving in Bahrain, I believe. Then you have Betty, who somehow might have the least dysfunctional family of anyone in Riverdale, and yet in season 1 alone, loses her pregnant sister who is forced to a secretive care home by her mother, who is a horrible, annoying bitch woman who no one likes and who likes no one, including her husband, who she might actually hate more than anyone in the entirety of the town after chucking a brick at their shop. Yes. Whew. And it turns out that Betty's dad is also a serial killer in season 2, so why can't one person in this entire show be happy? That's all we ask for. And yes, that is another gripe I do have with Riverdale. It's just never happy. Like, never. The most happiness I have actually ever seen in the entire show was just them enjoying a few days of their summer break in season 3. And once again, the main plot and storyline, once it gets going, is just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, depression after depression after depression. Bad thing after bad thing after bad thing, so much that any good thing that happens, it gets you so happy because we don't get any of it. But that's an issue I think more than just Riverdale faces, and it's definitely something I want to make a video on in the future if possible. All these drama series, why are they so depressing all the time? Yeah, it actually really is an issue. Like, why can't anything ever be happy? I enjoy these moments so much where you can just see them being teenagers and enjoying life. I'd honestly take a season of everyone being happy in Riverdale and having fun than the pit of despair and just sadness we cast you into every single season. Stop doing this to us, please, guys. Well, the show's finished by now, it's fine. But yes, other than that, it's just a great season of television and a really promising start to what could be a very good TV show. Wait. Yes, I take that back. It's just downhill from here, so be ready. But in summary though, hanging on to season 1, before we have to let go of all the good plot and good writing and, actually interesting characters, season 1 of Riverdale is great. I'm a big advocate for the show pretty much only because of the first season and parts of season 2 as well, and it has that classic American high school teenager vibe to it that I kind of do associate with some of the old Disney Channel movies and stuff like that, if you see what I'm getting at. High School Musical, iCarly, Hannah Montana, I don't know. Riverdale with the whole high school setting does give a similar kind of feeling, and the murder all really well done, and it is chilling, like spine-chillingly scary in some places, and it's really well done for an older audience, which I do greatly appreciate. Or I'm just talking out my ass, that's an option as well, maybe it's actually just crap. But looking at Riverdale season 1 as a whole, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Yes, that's pretty high, but honestly, I do really like season 1 of this show. But anyways, that's the end of today's video. Make sure to tell me in the comments what you thought of Riverdale season 1, your favorite characters, episodes, moments, etc. Also, make sure to subscribe if you wouldn't mind. This is a growing channel, and honestly, just one simple click of that button right there, yes, down there, would honestly really help. But anyways, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Darth Sauron, out.